Hey guys, we're going to start in a minute. Sorry. So I was talking, you couldn't even hear me. All right, so we got that going for us. My mother says I have the voice of an angel. Think she was lying? All right, let's get to it. We bonding? We are not bonding. Now we're bonding. We are not bonding. You're seeing the back of my monitor. We are bonding. Boom. All right, let's get to it. So, some things to go over, not a tremendous amount. Apologies for being late. I do not want to start this late, so it's not going to be the new thing. I just got tied up with something. Bear with me here. I'll open up a couple other things to get us where we need to be. Pardon me. I don't know if it's allergies, change of season. I usually don't get that here in Miami, like at all. That's where I currently am. I do think we should go through this so people get this today, so they watch this today, because I think this is pretty big. But you're going to want to watch this today. Let me just pull this up. Michigan consumer sentiment is pretty big, and we're going to want to watch how that goes today for sure. 100% actually. And Saturday's video, I'm going to get into all the econ data in pretty big detail. I think that there's a lot of things people are missing. And I don't think people fully understood the CPI data yesterday personally, or the PPI data yesterday. Let's get to this here. Drop that down, click on this, and then boom. Who's a winner? I am. So, NVIDIA down. I mean, it's not that big of a shock that NVIDIA is down a little bit this morning after a huge run. It's really hard to look at that and see how this is going to go, negatively now. I mean, that's a pretty big move. You might consolidate a little bit before ASML, but I don't know. To me, it looks like it's setting up for kind of a monster move. You came off of here, and then it's basically that slingshot we talked about, right? Like right off that third standard deviation. We went over this on Wednesday, actually, even in the public video. How, let's click this thing here. Whenever you hit that, it's like hitting a third rail. You're just going to jump, and that's exactly what's happened, right? I mean, you can say it. And then we were actually fortunate enough to be in one of them right here. So whenever you see that, oops, no, I got to remember to get rid of this thing afterwards. But it's pretty clear. So I don't know. I mean, I think that's actually the whole move, that you're at least going to revert back to the Bollinger Band up here. What's crazy about it is that even if you start to flip this band, that's even to them, that's like a buy signal to like people that just trade the band. Like if you just look at the band itself, a close above or below will have them getting long or short. Just something that simplistic. Like they'll go long when you're above it, right? Like that's all they're looking for. Oh, we're above it right here. Like here, I'll show you. I mean, it's really that simple. Oh, they broke below it. Oh, we're above it. Oh, I'm long. We're broke above it. I'm long. Like that's all they do. I mean, it's so simplistic. Sometimes it's kind of silly. Bounces off of it, holds. Oh, you broke the band. Okay, I'm short. Or they're just out of the way. All right, I'll buy it back when it gets back over. Okay, it's back over. I'm long. Like it's really that simple. When you trade the bands, and that's how some people do it. What's really cool is if you look at this, look how wide this was, right? So you had all this room, and then look how tight this got. That's what's interesting to me going into ASML and Taiwan Semi, how tight this is. So I think this has a lot of potential, but it's just my opinion. So we'll see what happens with it. Other things that I think are of interest or worth going over. Let me pull this up. Let's just see here. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get to a start where we know exactly what time we're going to start. But if we look at something like here, let's start here. Let's go to the JP Morgan, for example, right? So here's JP Morgan, and it's bonking all around, right? And this actually had fairly good news. So I'm surprised that you're acting the way that it is. I thought you'd have bounced a lot more by now. Now we know that this isn't real. But I'm surprised that you're bouncing around like this and you just didn't lift, because you should have lifted at this point. It was a really good report, in my opinion. So I'm somewhat surprised that you're not lifting a little bit more than that, but it is what it is. So, that's kind of where my head is with it. Just off the rip, it should have, and you had that nice little bounce off the open, and then you kind of go from there. So I had a trade in this. I still have some of it, but when it popped, I got out of some. I thought by now you would have gap filled because it really wasn't that bad. But you're holding that VWAP. So you always put a VWAP like right on that line, and it'll just tell you where you're at, right? It's a really good way of doing it. And the other thing you can always do with these VWAPs, if you're that interested, you can actually go to these settings. Hold on, let me show you this. This is kind of neat. Maybe they're going to let me do this. There it is. And you can go there and you can actually put on bands. So they should be allowing the bands here. Click on them. This is kind of neat. So like you'll put on these bands like on the VWAP. And then if you get to like a third, this isn't real, but like when you get to like these second, third standard deviations in here off that VWAP, you tend to have some kind of pullback, right? And even here, you can see you rode the line. And then when you flip the VWAP on that level, like that's where you bought. That's exactly where you would buy. I bought the next bar, but like that's where you would buy. And then you can just start seeing how it lifts and then it pushes up, right? I think what you're doing, you're scaling out of it and then you're kind of going from there. So that's how you should be looking at that. Anyway, I didn't think it was that bad. I'll go through that in greater detail, but Citigroup I thought was okay. I mean, BlackRock's buying everything. So, stock's doing exceptionally well. I really don't know how they're allowed to buy houses, but whatever. So if we start seeing here how this is going, there's your level to it. And then what you would do is you would come up here and you could see that in here pretty clearly, right? So it's definitely something for us to take a look at and go from there. So I don't know. I kind of like the chart. I don't buy the company that often, but I do like the chart. As far as ideas, there's far and few between. I mean, I don't really see the need to do a lot here. I think you had a real nice move the past 2 days. I do think that you're seeing the rotation. I'm going to take a lot of questions today because I was looking at this and I just don't see a lot going on that I have to get, overly involved with, here. I really don't. Like I'll show you this. And I'll take questions. So I'm going to clean this off. So I've been talking about this here. I've been talking about it privately in the room for some time. And we certainly did it yesterday in the room. But you're bottoming here. And this is exactly what you want to say. And you're doing it going into semi earnings. But you flip the level and you're bottoming here. You've been bottoming here, right? Right in here, all these levels, you're bottoming. So personally, I like this a lot. And so we'll go from there. But let's get into questions. What's up, Bridge? Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to touch it. I mean, I say it, dude. It's a monster. The day to buy it was the day it was down on CPI. Like it was down because of CPI for some reason, godforsaken reason. I mean, that's when you buy it. Do I buy it here? No. I mean, is it going to keep going? Probably, right? I mean, I think we got the Death to America chance again starting today. Drum roll into the Friday, into the weekend. And then, I don't know. Iran comes out and says, we're not going to do something or we're not going to make it that bad. Now we're going to make it bad again. Okay. I mean, talk about wanting attention. Jesus. I don't know. I don't know how people can expect them to be attacked and then they're not supposed to do anything. Like I don't know. I don't really get it. It seems kind of crazy to me, but whatever. And I'm not going to get in the whole Middle East debate here. That's not why I'm saying it. I'm saying it from the prospect of gold. Gold probably goes up into the weekend, right? And then if nothing happens Monday, I mean, it's sad that this is the state of affairs. If nothing happens Monday, gold will sell down. So, that's up to you whether or not you want to long gold into the weekend. I actually think you're better off going on the premise that nothing does happen, right? And then, I mean, we've seen this a couple times where everyone thinks something's going to happen and then nothing does happen, and then it is what it is. But, that's up to everybody how they want to play it. Really, it hasn't really mattered either way. Gold's gone up on Mondays. So it is what it is. And you have to go from there on. Let me turn that alert off. I don't know. I mean, I'm not touching it here. I'm not going to go near it. I mean, I'm happy for everybody, but I mean, where are you going from 25 to 26? Like where is this really going that I have to get involved with it? Right. I mean, even if I'm in down here, I'm up 10%. Okay. So I don't know. I just don't think it's worth the commitment of capital. Not here anyway. I mean, I don't know. Just my opinion. But it does look like it's just going to keep ripping, doesn't it, man? What's up, Bob? It probably does. Yeah, I mean, look, my personal opinion is that they're gearing up for earnings and they're starting to gear up for the next cycle. That's what I think where you're at. So what's the next cycle? So you've gone through CPI and PPI, right? CPI was not good at all, but there's a chance that it was not good because of the previous PPI. PPI came in and it was good. And we saw some action on that, right? We did see some action on that a good PPI. So then you go and go, okay, well, what's next? We have consumer sentiment today at 10 o'clock. So people are going to look at, all right, what's the consumer doing? So they're going to look at that at 10 o'clock. All right. Then you go and go, all right, we're going in the weekend. We have the whole death to America thing. And then we have the wars and then your locks. So people buy their gold and silver. Okay. Then you go in the next week. Well, next week, ASML comes out with earnings. Okay. Now, after ASML comes out with earnings, then you have Taiwan Semi coming out with earnings. All right. I think they're like a day apart, right? Or is it like the same day? ASML, Taiwan Semi, is it the same day? 17th and Taiwan Semi? They're telling me the 10th. I don't think we came out with I don't think we did come out with earnings. I don't know why you're telling me the 10th. I have to go find out when Taiwan Semi is actually coming out with earnings. I don't know why it's telling me the 10th because we certainly didn't do that, did we? And I mean, I doubt highly that I missed earnings. I think you came out with sales estimates, but I don't think you came out with earnings. They usually do sales estimates, right? But I don't think that they don't do earnings date. I think they do monthly sales estimates, but I don't think they did. Let's take a look here, see what I can find. See if I can get you a date. I thought it was next week. Maybe I'm wrong. I really wish they would just make this, it's so funny. We have all this access to information so that, okay, accept the cookies, for God's sake. Thursday, April 18th at 6 a.m. Yeah. So Thursday at 6 a.m. is what they're telling me. So if that's the case, you have a big week, right? So this is probably just off of that sales data. I personally think they're gearing up to get into semis. I think that's why you're seeing them rerun the article today on China. Like that article's so old. That article's a month old, but now they're floating it around out there again. Oh, China doesn't want chips. Okay. So like, I think that's kind of the nonsense that they're doing today. Just my opinion. What do I think? I think that, you're going to just see these things bonk around a lot and they are what they are, but I wouldn't be surprised seeing the video open up flat. It wouldn't be shocking to me at all. I mean, AMD I'm avoiding. I think AMD is grossly overvalued still. Everyone keeps talking about this new chip, that's coming and it's going to be a blockbuster. And you look at the earnings. I mean, you beat by 2%, 6%, but look at revenue. I mean, you're not even beating by 1%. They actually missed earnings here and just happened to make revenue. And now we're going to come into that on April 30th. I think they're going to be not really good again. So, they keep talking about this new chip that's going to come out. It's going to do this and that and do your laundry. And, it's coming. So is Christmas. And the NVIDIA's already on their second generation. So, game over. Intel's talking about their H100 killer. Okay. No one's buying that anymore. They're on the H200. Welcome to the party. So the game's already over. Right. It's just a question of how long the game goes on for. I think that this is where we're heading, John. This is where we're heading, right? We're heading in the earnings. Now we're going to we went through the macro leg of the stool, and then the week after this. So you're going to go like this, right? So then you're going to have this week, right? This week's in the bag, right? This week's done. This was all the macro stuff, right? Then you're going to go into earnings next week. And then after that week, you start the corporate buybacks again, right? So these are your so this week's in the bag, right? Then you have ASML earnings. Now, if ASML earnings are bad or Taiwan Semi's bad, well, then the whole AI thing will go out the window and we could just roll right back over again. And then we'd start looking at technicals, right? Because of the fundamental shift. But if they're not bad and ASML is good, which I think ASML is going to be good, and I think Taiwan Semi is going to be good, and I think it's very clear that they're going to be good, then that's where we're going. We're going back in the semis. We're going into tech. And I think that's why you're seeing, this is where I'm going with it, to answer your question, John. That's why you're starting to see the outperformance of the NASDAQ again here. And so that's where the puck's going, right? That's what I think anyway. Long answer to your question, but we got there. Wakey, wakey. I'm awake, brother. Up at 5 every day, all day. Can't stop, won't stop, don't know how. What's going on there? Good morning. Bro, I'm getting shirts. I'm getting shirts made up. Going to have hats made up that say super user. The amount of crap they do to legalize the crap that they do. The 18th, right, Ant? Yeah. One of the guys in the room. Yeah, the 18th. I know. I want to get on the list. Wrong day? Yeah, it's the wrong day. What's up, Lise? I gotta move this. I hate Chewy. I think it's so hard to trade that stock. Hubs looks like a beast. Hubs looks like an absolute beast. What's X doing? I haven't been watching Steel. This is not going to go through, but I think everybody already knows that. But that was the day to buy it, right? What do you do here with this? I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, that's really nice, actually. I like these kinds of bars. If you can close like that and you got a hammer like that, where the hammer, right, this is all rejection, and then the hammer fills in that wick. Yeah, I mean, that's a really nice trade. If you can get that, if. Dun, 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 dun. Wasn't someone going to buy them? Isn't that why it's doing what it's doing? Like Amazon's going to buy them or something? Wasn't it something silly like that? I don't know. I'd want to know why it's moving. If that's why it's moving, that's silly. Amazon's not going to be able to. Amazon can't buy a vacuum cleaner, let alone a software company. I don't know. I'm not going near that, man. You can try. I could be dead wrong. I mean, the undercut's there, right? And then the bounce. But I'm not going near that thing, man. GL's a disaster. It's a dumpster fire. I mean, they better be right the way they came out with that article. fuzzy panda. I mean, you got to laugh. What a time to be alive. But, you know, they better be right. I don't know. They're like, we're always right. We told you about Fisker, right? FSK. We told you about them. I mean, like, I could have told you about Fisker. Like, I mean, okay. Like, and we told you about this other company. Like, okay. Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're pretty blunt. Like, look, these guys are pretty blunt that they are short the stock, right? Like they're very open about the fact that they are, and at least that's, I like that about them. Like they're telling you point blank, we're already short before we told you to short it, right? Like they admit it. It's right on their disclosure. It's like right there. So, you know, they're talking up their book. It doesn't mean they're right or wrong, you know, but it doesn't mean they're right or wrong about the company, right? But the disclosure is what I like. Like, hey, we're short this and we know that we're going to drive it down. And that means we're talking up our book and we might cover into it. So that's very different than what you see some of these other guys do, like Citron and Hindenburg, where they come out and say like, oh yeah, we're doing this for the good of the people. And they don't tell you about the institutions that are paying them tens of thousands of dollars to get ahead of those trades. These guys are pretty blunt about what they're doing. And as long as you disclose it, I think it's fine. But it's the disclosure that always sickens me. When they don't do it, because people think that like, oh, they're doing this. Yeah, that's why they did $1 million worth of research to help you. So, but I don't know, man. Are they right? I don't have a clue. You know, I don't have a clue. I find it fascinating that no one came out to defend them. I mean, if you know, where's the CEO? Like, where are these guys? How come they're not on CNBC? Like, why are they not defending this? Like they should be all over this thing, like all over the news. It shouldn't be milquetoast. It should not be like a statement. It should be like they are out in front of this. This is wrong. This is what they're saying. You're talking to a disgruntled employee, blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, where's all that? So when I don't see that, like if I had a company and somebody screwed around with it, I'm going to talk to them. Like, you know, maybe they know something I don't. You know, maybe you're going to learn something about your company, but like, oh, I wasn't aware of this or whatever. It's just, I don't know. When there's that much silence, you want to pay attention. Like even IEP, like when they went after IEP on the NAV thing, like they had a valid argument, right, about IEP when Hindenburg went after it. Like as much as I like Icon, they have a valid argument. Why are you buying a company for more money than the underlying assets? And you can say, okay, well, there should be a premium to that. Okay, well, what is that premium? Well, to me, the premium is the amount of valuation that he's going to generate, right? So when he didn't generate that, like when he didn't generate it here, that's when I got out because he's not doing what I thought he was going to do, right? But same thing with me with like Berkshire. Like I look at people buying Berkshire like they're out of their minds. Like I have no idea why you would buy Berkshire. For what purpose? Just go buy Apple and save yourself a lot of money. Like, I mean, 50% of Berkshire is Apple at least. So like, why would you even buy this? And why would you pay a premium for Apple? It doesn't make any sense to me, right? You could literally like, if you want to see, like, I'm going off on a tangent, but here, watch. Like if you want here and you're like BRKB, right? Okay. So like Apple, right? Divided by BRKB. So like, why wouldn't you just buy Apple? I mean, it's the same exact trade. I mean, it's exact. Like, why wouldn't you just buy Apple? I mean, you can see that chart, right? So then you come here and go, look, it's the same exact chart. So it's silly. Depends where you're trying to get to. Apple, I mean, maybe it goes again. I think you're going to get a lot of people that are like, oh, we're not in Apple. I don't know. I mean, I'm not buying it. Like, it's very difficult. Like, look, guys, I have like certain parameters, right? Like, I'll give you one of them. It's very difficult for me to buy a stock that has this, right? Like, if you have a death cross, like they're called death crosses for a reason, right? Like, it's really hard for me to buy that. I think their product development is awful. You know, I mean, we don't even know what iPhone they're on anymore. Right. I usually get the new one just because it has more memory, but there's zero innovation at the company. Zero. They are extremely vulnerable to competition right now. So I don't know, man. They got a lot to do. Like they have people hooked, right? Let me see the time. They have people hooked because I have everything linked, right? So like the phone is linked to like I run all my computers, even my trading computers right now are Apple, but I'm probably going to switch back one of them because one of the programs I run, but like and Apple just can't, for whatever reason, can't handle the thing. And I have a really expensive Apple computer, but like everything's hooked in. I've got the iPad, I got the iPad mini, like they got me, right? The laptop, like everything's just, everything's linked. So they have you because of that, but there's no real innovation. Like, they're already coming out. They had to pay all these influencers to wear those stupid goggles. And now they're already getting problems where people, they're getting headaches. They're getting black eyes because of it. They're dizzy. Like, I mean, or we're going to build a car. Now we're going to do AI. Like, I don't know, maybe you should be doing AI. I mean, you have the phone. So I think there's a lot of issues there. I'm in no big hurry to own that stock. I don't think it's the next BlackBerry, but I don't know why you put capital into it. What I do wrong now? Live in 11 hours. That's my sidekick. That's the guy that's been helping me out lately. He's absolutely bombing lately. Bombing. Absolutely bombing. Let's tell him now. Like, you're killing me. You are killing me. (8:15 a.m.) for the videos. Maybe you got a new girlfriend or something. Something's going on with him. He's supposed to be helping me. He's killing me lately. Killing me. Maybe he's got one of those headsets on. Can you explain that? Not fast. I mean, basically, here's the bottom line. This is what they did a great job of. This was my point that I was trying to get at. This is where, and maybe I lost it a little bit. Maybe I lost the point. Sometimes I make points and I think they're so clear, and then I realize the only person that they're clear to is me. What are they going to do? Take everything down this morning? Give me a second here. Are they going to kill everything? Oh yeah, they're going to kill everything. Yeah, I'm not buying what you're selling, buddy. But maybe they are. So we'll see. Because of the war, right? Okay. Let me just see something here. What time is it? Yeah, that's about it. Right. All right. So let's go through some of this stuff. Let's do it this way. Let's answer this question because this is important for people to get. What time is it? Where am I with the questions? I don't know how I started. So yeah, nothing came out here except Death to America. So I guess that's it. All right. Let's go here and pull this up. If we go and take a look at the 10th, that is the 10th. I don't need you. I'll talk to you in a minute. So if you look at that here, right, that move, that's the 10th, right? Let's just make sure that's the 10th. All right. So today's the 12th. Okay. So that's your range. Do you find it interesting that that's all they did? That's all they got it down to, right? And then it never went lower. Why do you think they didn't keep selling? Why do you think they bought here at the same spot they were buying here? Right? This is the point that I was getting at yesterday that was aggravating. When you realize, because you always knew it was leaked, you just didn't know how leaked it was, right? But here's the problem with this. Okay. And this is where they chose that they were going to get out last time, right? See, I mean, it's the same exact levels. Now, why is this? Because they knew the number already. They already knew what PPI was here. right? I mean, they already knew it. So they know where they want to be a buyer of CPI based upon what the PPI is going to be, right? So they already have it mapped out on where they're at in their heads. And then they go and put the trade on. That's what should be so infuriating about it. Not only do they have, like, if you think they have CPI and they don't have PPI, like, you're delusional, right? Of course they do. So if they have that kind of access, then they know exactly what they were doing here. While the rest of us are waiting for this number, they already know that they're buyers. They already know, oh, we're going to just take it down to the low at the end of the day. And then what we'll do is then we'll get involved, right? And then you start, so you come and take a look at like the SPY and you look at it and go, oh, okay. Well, I mean, how long did they know? Do you see where I'm going with this? Like, it's the same level over and over and over again. Why? Well, that's the level that they want to own it at. So what do? They take it down, right? Flush people out, and then they rip it. So when you start to see this kind of stuff, it becomes really, it becomes really very, not disheartening, but it should alleviate a lot. Like, it should let you know why you're doing what you're doing. Meaning, it should let you know, what do you got going on here? Well, they're going to take you down. It should let you know why they're doing what they're doing. So what do I mean by that? I mean that they have their levels, right? And when they have their levels, then it should even add more validity to what we're doing, where we're saying, okay, well, this is their level. Like, even on the 10th, okay, well, this is their level, right? Wherever their level was on the 10th here, right? Okay. It should actually add more validity to that level should hold, right? Even when they undercut it, they're probably not really going to undercut it that often and then go lower, right? On an event. They're probably not going to do that. And you're going to say, well, why? Because that's where they wanted to buy. So all they're doing is buying where they want to buy. What are we doing this morning? Oh, we're going to come down. Do you think that maybe that level holds again? So, I mean, you already know what level you're supposed to be looking at on the SPY for a bounce, right? You already know. So it is what it is. I mean, we're just not going to get access like they do. I mean, the only thing I would do with it is short it. What's up, Marty? UL Solutions today. I'm not going long. It's very hard for me to buy names like that. Yeah, we'll say. I mean, I don't really see an eruption. They already came out and confirmed their guidance. I don't know. I mean, hopefully it drops again and I'll get another shot at it. I don't know if it's going to or not. Let's see where we are this morning now. 9:03, nothing from. Okay. Yeah, you're on that line. All right, let's get to it. I like to sleep now. What's up, Jose? What's going on, buddy? Oh, you're welcome, John. Bro, I'm lucky I can tie my shoes in the morning. Just the death to America, I think. What's up, Sue? I just always use defaults. There's certain things I use defaults for. Bloomberg's one of them. Lulu, I would not touch. They just lost. They just dropped from like second to third in some major poll. What's up, Tess? ETN, no thoughts. Usually it's a specific events. Why do you keep typing the word Lululemon in over and over and over again? Let's take a look at Lyft. Seems like an obsession. I mean, maybe I don't know. I don't know. I mean, of all the names like right now that I'd be interested in, I don't know why I'd be interested in this. Stay with me 1 second, guys. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I'd go near that. BA's pretty washed out, dude. I don't know that we're getting there. I don't know. I don't know we're getting there. There's my 1,000 levels from trading yesterday. It's getting pretty washed out, man. I mean, everyone, their sister's short. Everyone knows how to short now. I don't know. Where's the edge anymore, right? Like we all know it's got problems. Like, is there really an edge? You know what I mean? Like we're back to support levels. You're kind of holding in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've been down for 10 days. You're on a major support level. Oh, it's less than that, dude. It's less. It's way less. It's no. It's not 2 to 1. It's not 2.1% now. It's much less than 2.1%. Gold. We're going to war. Death to America. All that stuff. Yeah, I think it's getting worse. I do think it's getting worse. I do. If you, this is why I agree with you, Sneed. Like if things were going to get worse, right? If things were going to get worse and you were like a regime that wanted things to go your way, be it Russia, Israel, Iran, I'm not going to get into this, but like, wouldn't you want to do it while you know what the current administration in the United States is versus a new administration? I'm not saying who's going to win the election, but you'd want to like, if you'd want to deal with the devil, you know, right? So I would expect things to exacerbate into it. I mean, I could put my tinfoil hat on as to why, but that's irrelevant. Either way, you're going to just get nutty. It's just the way it is. I agree with that. 18th, right? I think you're going to pull back regardless. I could really care less. Yeah, and they couldn't buy a vacuum cleaner. Now they're going to buy hubs. Like, when the 55, or I use a 55, you should use what you're comfortable with. When the 50 crosses the 200, what are your thoughts on XLA? I think I'm a little done. I think I'm a little toasty there. You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. Yeah, I don't know why people would buy Berkshire. I'm just going through these comments, see if I miss anything. CCJ, yeah, URA. I mean, they're the names. I'm actually in some uranium names finally. Do they? AMRK. Yeah, maybe that's what's going on with them. They're all hedged out and they just make money on the turn. That'll do it. That's a lot of volume, man. No, Planter is a disaster. You guys are obsessed with Planter. Anything else I got to go over here? All right, I got to jump, guys. Trade to win this week. Finish strong.